what sort of cuts we will see in the federal budget, but we will see cuts. And many of the subsidy and tax credit programs that have driven affordable housing around this country so successfully are likely to be scaled back. And therefore, the role of advocacy is more important than ever. And the advocacy is maybe the one bright star on the horizon. Why? Because housing is one of those issues, along with education and maybe a few others, that really need not be partisan. And I'm relatively new to this business, so I can't tell you if Washington's going to be more or less partisan in the next 2 years than it was in the last 2 years. But housing, we should agree, and Joe McGee articulates this beautifully, is about economic development. It is about businesses moving in and creating jobs. Maureen, having worked so long in supportive housing, can articulate an argument about, does it make sense to build supportive housing on a dollar basis, or does it make sense to build more homeless shelters? The numbers are unimpeachable in favor of good, smart, supportive housing. Basic questions of, do we believe that a firefighter or a teacher or a policeman who serves a community ought to be able to aspire to live in that community? Should a senior citizen who grew up in a town in Fairfield County have a reasonable crack at retiring and living out their retirement in that town? These are questions that don't need to be partisan. There are powerful economic and moral arguments for the importance of the kind of affordable housing that we are gathered here to celebrate. And I am so happy that Maureen, who is a friend of mine from Affordable Housing Days in New York City, is our keynote speaker today, because if Maureen is about one thing, it is about advocacy. And she has been recognized as such by all sorts of organizations nationally in New York. She was a critical component to helping Mayor Bloomberg and now HUD Secretary Sean Donovan in what was probably the most successful affordable housing construction period in any American city over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And now she's moved on to be president and CEO of the National Housing Conference, joining me in Washington for her sins in working on this very, very important topic. Prior to that, as I alluded to before, Maureen was the executive director of the Supportive Housing Network in New York, where we worked closely together when I was at Enterprise on advancing the cause of smart affordable housing policy in New York City and in the region. Her awards and recognitions are many, again, largely centering on her ability to organize and make the case for affordable housing. That word that will really, I think, make the difference for all of us and for those of us who care about not just a just, humane, and diverse society, but one that really lays the foundation for economic growth. So it is a great, great pleasure now to introduce the President and CEO of the National Housing Conference, my friend Maureen Fryer.